Hello, today I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about the concepts of supply and demand. First, a little bit of background information on exactly what supply and demand is. First of all, supply and demand are really two of the biggest factors that determine the price of a product or a service provided in a market economy. As you probably know already, the United States has a market economy. So a lot of what we're talking about here today, we can think of examples from our own lives. Supply is the amount of a product that has been produced, so the amount that is available for people to purchase. On top of that, demand is the desire that a customer has, or customers in general have, to buy a given product. Pretty much everything that we purchase in our lives, whether it be video games, horrible looking plastic shoes, wonderful Starbucks coffee, iPhones, sweet cars like my car right there, it all is determined by supply and demand. Oftentimes you're going to see supply and demand represented on a graph. Our graph here has, along the left side, we have the price. There's a little button I can use to make those look bigger, but I don't know how to do that. On the bottom, we have the quantity or the number of a product. And then economists will graph it looking like this. We have demand on a curve over here representing high demand, bottom here representing low demand. As you can see, as demand is lower, people don't want a product, the price is going to be lower. Likewise, when demand for a product is high, up here on top part of the demand curve, price is going to go up. Then you have the supply, the amount of a product that has been produced. Ideally, what somebody wants to do if they're producing a product is to find this point where supply and demand meet on the supply and demand curve. And there's very complicated formulas to figure this out, but we're just going to get kind of a basic run through. This point where they meet is known as an equilibrium, that point right there. And that is the amount of goods being supplied is relatively equal to the amount that people want. Because if your curve is off here and you're producing a supply that is higher than the demand, now you're left with an excess supply. You have too much stuff. Likewise, if you don't produce enough of a product and your supply is lower than the demand line here, that means you're missing out on people that would be willing to buy your product. So you want to make just enough where you're not going to have too much of a product or you're not going to have too few of a product. We're going to look at kind of the impact of supply and demand and how increasing or decreasing one or the other would influence price. First of all, let's look at if demand of a product is low. So I have a company that has a product that right now nobody wants. Let's say, for example, snowmobiles in the middle of the summer. Not many people are going to want to buy snowmobiles in the summer because you can't use them. Therefore, demand is low. And in instances like this, when demand is low, that means the price of the object is going to go down. That is often why you see things like snowmobiles on sale in the summer or things like lawnmowers on sale in the winter when they're in off season. You have to lower the price to meet the demand. Now, if we flip that and we have demand that is high, there's a product out there or service that everybody wants to buy. Let's say it's tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. People are going to be willing to spend a lot more money if the demand for a product is high. So if demand is high and we really want to go see her shake it off, that means the price is going to go up. Now, if we look at how supply impacts it, let's take a look at if supply of a product is low. Another way of looking at that is if something is rare. You could think of oil being rare. You could think of diamonds, gold, precious minerals, or a 1909 Honus Wagner baseball card. This is supposedly the rarest baseball card in existence. There's only one or two of them out in the world today, and collectors are willing to spend a lot of money. So when supply is low and things are rare, that means price is going to go up. People are willing to spend more money on things if there's not a lot of it. This card, for example, just recently sold for over $2 million in an auction. I think I could think of a lot of better ways to spend money than $2 million on a baseball card. Let's look at the opposite. You have a lot of supply, an excess of supply. There's a product you have that is very, very common, and you can find it pretty much anywhere. Something like dirt. So when the supply of a product is plentiful, there's a lot of it, that means price is going to go down. That's why sometimes people refer to things being cheap as dirt. This isn't the only thing that influences price of an object, but it is probably two of the strongest factors indicating price. But there are other factors that you'd probably want to be aware of. One being the cost to produce something. If it costs $100 to make a product, that means a company is going to have to sell it for more than $100 to still make up their cost. Likewise, if something is cheap to produce, you can sell it for a cheaper price because you can make more money that way. You also have to look at the impact of paying workers. There's a reason products that come from, Southeast Asia cost less because they don't have to pay their workers the same minimum wage that you do in the United States. Another factor is popularity of a product. All of a sudden, an object that has had no demand whatsoever, all of a sudden can become very popular. Celebrities, athletes are kind of a driving force behind the popularity. That's why companies are willing to spend so much money in getting people to advertise their product. So let's just say, for example, tomorrow morning we wake up and our buddy Kanye here decides that it's going to be very fashionable to wear green zebra pants and overly large top hats. That means all of a sudden the demand for these products are going to go up. Therefore, price is probably going to rise. That's all I have for you right now. Be sure to go back to your task board and see what you need to do next.